You are not the only option we have for 2027, Oburu Odinga tells William Ruto.
If we feel that we have been given a raw deal, that our people have not received what they are supposed to get in terms of development, in terms of justice, and so on, then we are free to join with any other formation. That's what we are saying. We are not saying that we are not going to work with Ruto, because he is one of the options which is there open for us to continue.
Not the only option.
But not the only option. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed that interview, just have a listen to it. In a nutshell, Oburu Odinga has now changed everything across. Why? He's telling William Ruto that you're not the only option that you have in 2027, that they have in 2027. Oburu Odinga sounds to be very wise. Whenever he speaks, I see a lot of wisdom. I don't know whether it's just me or it's also from your side. But the fact is, I am also seeing some consistency between what Raila Amolo Odinga used to do and what Oburu Odinga is doing right now, which is a very clear indication that Raila Amolo Odinga and Oburu Odinga were very, very close, and they executed the ODM matters together, because Oburu Odinga looks to be, he understands what Raila Amolo Odinga was up to. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, Oburu Odinga did not only talk about 2027. He also talked about Edwin Sifuna.
Sifuna was within the right to say so, because that is the correct position of the matter. He's not isolated. How can he be isolated when I'm telling you that is the position?
The spokesman of the party is usually the Secretary General, so Sifuna. When Mr. Sifuna speaks, he's speaking on behalf of the party.
I don't want to talk about what he talked about Sifuna or any other thing, but let me specifically narrow this discussion here today on what he told William Ruto, that you are not the only option in 2027. And then straight away, I take you to the options that he has, or maybe the people of ODM and the Luo Nyanza people have. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mokwa Times, take a second or two to subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, without much wasting of time, let me dive into this topic here today. The expectations of William Ruto is that Luo Nyanza was supposed to support him fully during Raila Amolo Odinga's reign when he was alive. When Raila Amolo Odinga died, he gave Raila Amolo Odinga a state funeral just to entice the people of Luo Nyanza. He also retained the cabinet secretaries from the Luo Nyanza region and the ODM party at large. But still, there have been mixed reactions, which are probably indicating that they might not support William Ruto come 2027. Now, to make matters worse, it's where Oburu Odinga comes out and says that William Ruto is not the only option for them in 2027. Therefore, there are two options that are left for now, these people. One, it is Kalonzo Musyoka. Two, it is Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Why Kalonzo Musyoka, number one? Kalonzo Musyoka supported Raila Amolo Odinga ever since 2013 all the way to 2022, the last election that Raila Amolo Odinga vied while alive. And in 2022 it was much more interesting because he dropped further to become a prime cabinet secretary and allow Martha Karua to become the running mate of Raila Amolo Odinga. Such huge loyalty. Such kind of loyalty attracts support across the Luo Nyanza region. People will always remember that Kalonzo Musyoka stood by Raila Amolo Odinga's side. Apart from that, Kalonzo Musyoka has not always been abusing Raila Amolo Odinga in any way. Respect has always been maintained. So if he does not have a bad relationship with Raila Amolo Odinga, he's probably capable of getting huge support from Luo Nyanza region, because they'll feel like this guy respected Baba, he loves Baba, he supported Baba, so let's support him. Apart from that, Kalonzo Musyoka himself does not have an enemy. He can go to Luo Nyanza and campaign comfortably without worrying, because he does not have a problem with anyone. That is Kalonzo Musyoka. So therefore, Kalonzo Musyoka is one of the options that the people of Luo Nyanza really have. Kalonzo Musyoka has as well maintained his relationship with ODM members. Whenever they meet at the streets or maybe in the corridors of justice, they share like people who know each other. A clear indication that these people can literally go and support Kalonzo Musyoka. I don't know what's your take, but you can tell me in the comment section, what do you think if Kalonzo Musyoka can be able to get support in Luo Nyanza based on the reasons that I've just given. Let me move to Dr. Fred Matiang'i.
Fred Matiang'i, I know him to be a very faithful civil servant, and I know him to to be a very hard-working person. So I know him personally. But I don't know much politics in him. I've not seen much politics in him, unless there are some people who are seeing something different from me.
This is a gentleman who came from the World Bank, basically because his name emerged during the Gen Z protests. And people asking him both locally and internationally that, what are you doing here in the US, yet Kenya needs you? And that's how Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i made a decision to come back to the country and vie for president. Now, does he really deserve Raila Amolo Odinga's support? First of all, yes. If Raila Amolo Odinga was alive today, he could have supported Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i. Why? If you did not know, back in 2022, Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i was to be the government candidate. But now, Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta convinced him to step down and support Raila Amolo Odinga, of which he did. Personally, I heard that Matiang'i had started printing kofias, t-shirts and stuff. But now, they reached that decision. Now, after Raila Amolo Odinga's death, Matiang'i, does he stand a chance of getting support of the Luo Nyanza people? Yes. Why? First, he supported Raila Amolo Odinga back in 2022. That was huge. Let me tell you that supported Raila Amolo Odinga and giving him all those votes from the Gusii region. Apart from that, members of parliament from that region, both Jubilee and ODM, that was immense. So such kind of a contribution, it was amazing. The sacrifice he made in 2022, it's also okay. Because if Raila Amolo Odinga could not have been on the ballot, or maybe if Matiang'i could have decided to be on the ballot, then Raila Amolo Odinga might have not gotten the votes from Mount Kenya over 1.3 million. So William Ruto could have beaten him by far. So in a nutshell, Raila Amolo Odinga got some support from Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i, which is very crucial. Ladies and gentlemen, now, another thing I want to say is that Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i comes from the Nyanza region. Nyanza is where Raila Amolo Odinga comes from. For some time now, the Gusii region has been supporting Raila Amolo Odinga now and then. Raila Amolo Odinga leads, actually. If you did not know, the members of parliament, most of them from the Gusii region, are for the ODM party. The governors of the two counties and the senators are all from the Azimio side, if not the ODM party, which is a clear indication that through Matiang'i, there was some proper control within the Gusii region that enabled Raila Amolo Odinga to get governors, senators, members of parliament, and the staff. And in fact, if you remember, Simba Arati came out and said Raila Amolo Odinga gave him someone to employ, who has now raised the revenue of Gusii region from, I think, 400 to 1 point something billion, which is amazing. Meaning that Raila Amolo Odinga also had direct interest in what was happening in the Gusii region. People of Gusii region did immense work for Raila Amolo Odinga. Now, if Matiang'i is denied that chance, then probably it is because the Gusii people at Gusii Stadium, they chased Raila Amolo Odinga away, literally, especially after joining William Ruto. But I want to state it here categorically, that was basically to chase away the broad-based government, not really necessarily Raila Amolo Odinga, because people did not hate Raila, but they did not like William Ruto. So that is why there was such a kind of heckling and chasing away of Raila Amolo Odinga from the Gusii Stadium. Another thing that makes Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i to actually get support from the Luo Nyanza and the leaders at large of the ODM party is because of his chances as well to win an election. Because these guys are accepted across the country. So they will feel that Matiang'i is a strong candidate, they might win the seat, so let's back him up. In a nutshell, that is what I think strongly that can make Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and of course Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i to get the support of the people of Luo Nyanza. Because right now, after William Ruto has been told you are not an option, you are not the only option in for Luo Nyanza people, then in a nutshell, he has to think twice. And I want to believe that these leaders will play a better game and ensure that at least they maintain what they have right now, or maybe be better candidates to face President William Ruto come 2027. These guys are not easy to deal with. Nevertheless, we also have Uhuru Kenyatta, who can have full influence on these two leaders. He can either decide to support Kalonzo Musyoka and Matiang'i, and I'm telling you the Luo Nyanza people will be happy because the way you've seen, it's like they love Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't know what's your take, but I feel that Uhuru Kenyatta is loved as much after leaving Mount Kenya region. But in Mount Kenya, it's a bit shaky because right now Gachagua is present and is the person calling shots within the Mount Kenya region. My name is Abel Mukwa. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what's your take, but on the comment section, feel free to share with me on what you think.